On today's episode of Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast, we're going to be talking about slow down to speed up with Jaemi Pierson.
Hi, I'm Karen Cooper, a wife, mom of three, real estate broker, team owner, and founder of Empowering Women in Real Estate. As a realtor, I've personally helped well over 700 families in my career, and now I help thousands of women from all across the country balance real life and real estate through daily inspiration, motivation, and actionable plans to increase their success. Listen in as I share stories and tips from my life and business and interview some of my favorite people.
Hi there, I'm so glad you're here for today's episode. This is probably one of my favorite interviews that I have done on the show. I have been a follower, and maybe you are too, because there are like over 225,000 of us that follow Jaemi Pierson on Instagram. She has a company called Her Empowered Mind, and she is a business coach, a mindset coach, specifically for women, high-level women who are at the top of their game. And what I love about her content and what I love about what Jaemi does is the emphasis on regulating your nervous system, the emphasis on your mindset, the emphasis on doing the inner work. And I hope you'll go follow her, go check out her Instagram. We will have her account linked in the show notes. Like, the whole vibe is just calm, peaceful. I think it's what so many of us are looking for. And this is the second time I've had a chance to speak with Jaemi. She's someone that I'm wanting to work with myself. And the first time we had a conversation, I knew immediately that she was someone that I wanted to have on the show. And you're going to hear this in our episode today. There is so much emphasis in the world, and I think especially in the real estate industry, around like hustle. It's like hustle culture, like the harder you can work and the more you can work. And, I love to work hard, don't get me wrong, but I think so many of us are doing it and coming at it from such a place of almost being frantic and chaotic, and it eats away at you. It eats away at you on the inside. It eats away at you. So many women I know, and maybe it's just my age. I turned 53 a couple of weeks ago. So many of us around, this kind of midlife phase, there's a lot of conversations around anxiety. There's a lot of conversations around stress. There's a lot of conversations around regulating your nervous system. And what you're going to hear Jaemi talking about today is how having that regulated nervous system is really one of the biggest assets in our businesses. And I don't think in fact, not that I don't think, I know that that's not something that we pay attention to, think about, emphasize. And so I'm really excited for you to hear today's episode. I feel like this could have been 3 times longer than it is, just because there's so much depth to what Jaemi teaches and shares. And I wanted to try to capture as many little bits as I could today of her goodness and of what she shares. And so you're going to hear a lot of that. I struggled with what to call this episode. Slow down to speed up is something you're going to hear her say towards the end of the episode. But, this also could have been around, something about your nervous system, or something about, being regulated, or, the inner work. I mean, there's so many different directions, and there's a lot here, and I'm excited for you to hear it. So take a listen. Tell me what you think. Come and message me on Instagram. I'm at karen.w.cooper. And until next time, stay well.
Jaemi Pierson, welcome to the show. I am so happy to have you here today.
It's an absolute honor. I'm so excited to be here with you.
So for anyone who doesn't know you, you now have how many followers on Instagram?
Oh, gosh. Just over 200,000.
200,000. So I'm going to guess that a lot of our listeners probably already know you, have followed your content, love what you do. But for anybody who maybe doesn't know, will you introduce yourself? Tell us about you.
I'm happy to. So I own Her Empowered Mind, and I do mindset and business coaching and empowerment. And I have the pleasure of working with women who own their own businesses, female founders who are looking to unlock their next level by doing the inner work that will create those external results.
Because it is all about the inner work, right?
That is my firm belief that it is all about doing the inner work. It's really interesting because I look at your mind and your nervous system as your greatest assets in life and in business. And to be able to create the best inner world environment
Mhm.
is what allows you to not only create success in your life, but really enjoy the success that you build and enjoy your life as you build it.
I agree with you. It's not only our greatest asset, but for so many of us, it's actually our greatest detriment, right? Like it is the thing that holds us back.
100%. And it's really interesting because it's never the feelings, the beliefs, the emotions that are the problem. It's our untrained responses to them that can hold us back.
Can you say more about that for somebody who might have kind of missed that? Because I think a lot of us, it's one thing to have the thoughts. I think that's very normal, but it's how we respond or react to those thoughts.
That's it. We all have patterns, and I believe that patterns are either learned at a very young age or they're earned throughout life experiences. And to be able to become aware of a pattern is the first step in being able to then change the pattern. So I believe that there's awareness and then there is agency and there is action. And I
Mhm.
think where a lot of us get stuck is the lack of awareness of where a pattern might be manifesting in our lives, where there might be a limiting belief or a mental block that can show up as a form of self sabotage, but really it's just a pattern that is showing you where there could be work to do. And when you figure out what those habits, patterns, and beliefs are, and you commit to rewiring them and changing them, that is when everything else starts to become more available and easy for you.
Yes, absolutely. I think when I think about myself and I know, and I want to hear a little bit more about your story from this perspective too. I have been in the real estate industry and in my career for 24 years. I know you had been in a corporate career prior to your work now for more than 2 decades. And I think for so many women, most women that I know, just speaking about my industry, there is a struggle, I think, that so many of us have with our inner selves and with that inner voice. And, we see other people on social media and even if they're, like I was thinking about this morning, like, the people that we compare ourselves to often, they're not even playing the same game that we're playing, right?
Mhm.
But we still compare ourselves and it pulls you out of your own goodness.
It is so difficult to live your best life and to create the level of success that's available to you when you're not focused on your own lane. And
Yeah.
so when we drift and we start to compare our journeys, and whether we're comparing our chapter 2 to their chapter 10,
Yep.
it pulls your focus and your energy away from
Mhm.
where you are. And what happens is we stop honoring how far we've come
Oh,
and we
yeah.
start to measure how far we have to go.
Mhm.
And that is not a very helpful energy to operate from. And I like to
Yeah.
talk about this measuring the gain versus the gap.
Yeah.
When we constantly measure the gap in between where we are and where we want to be, and we're not actually looking at the gain, how far we've come,
Mm.
we start to make decisions and we start to act from a place of urgency, lack, and scarcity.
Oh, yeah.
And that really prevents us from operating at our highest level.
You're so spot on about that. And when I think about my own personal experiences, there've been seasons where I've felt that. I think a lot of us, I just turned 53 last week, and a lot of us, when we kind of hit this sort of midlife, kind of phase or season, things start to shift for you. And I went through a couple of years where I just questioned everything I had done and all of my experience and achievements to date because like it's almost like you question if you're even relevant or if it's even relevant anymore, right? And now finally, after doing a little bit of work and some different things, I feel like I operate from a place now that is more calm and
Mm-hmm.
is not as rushed or urgent. Like it's interesting. I love that you use that word urgent, right? In what we do.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, by the
Thank
way.
you. Thank you
Happy
so much.
birthday.
Thank you.
There is a lot of grace and wisdom that comes with the gift of aging.
Yeah.
And the more years I have on this planet, the shorter the seasons of struggle actually feel.
Ooh.
But when you're in them, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a season, it feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And when you don't know when you're going to come out the other end, a
Yeah.
changed version of yourself, they can be really difficult to exist in. the concept of nervous system regulation has never been more present on my mind than starting my own business, because to operate from a regulated nervous system, it's not available to us indefinitely. We always move in and out of fight or flight, or even maybe freeze or fawn. The more we're able to regulate our nervous system, the more grounded we are. And there's a very big difference in how we show up.
Yeah.
There's also a very big difference in how we move through our days. And it
Yes.
feels less urgent. It feels like the stakes aren't as high. And that's the gift of being able to self-regulate. Some
Yeah.
of that comes with time and wisdom. Some of that comes with a really high attention and intention on working on nervous system regulation.
For
Yeah.
sure. I like as I'm hearing you talking, I'm thinking of different kind of examples of things that I've experienced that I'm sure, our listeners can kind of relate to. And when you're operating from that space, think of it, a lot of us, we're salespeople, right? Especially in my industry. And when you are operating from that, I call it like frantic energy, right? Of what you're describing, not only does it impact us and how we operate, it impacts the people around us and how they relate to us. Is that right?
How they experience you.
Yeah.
That frantic energy is so counterproductive
Yeah.
to sales.
Yep.
And I want to honor the work that you do in the industry that real estate is it is high stakes. It is high pressure. There is hustle involved. There is a lot of multitasking, a lot of balancing other people's emotions, the buyer, the seller, and then you throw your emotions on top of that.
Yep.
A position of strength in my mind as a realtor is to be the most regulated version of yourself so you can help your clients and sellers and buyers regulate through you.
That's
when
right.
you're frantic, they become frantic, because if you think you have skin in the game, imagine how they feel.
Exactly. And I think we don't appreciate that necessarily. Like we're not the conversation that we're having right now, like this is not something that's ever really taught to us. I mean, I've done this for 24 years. I've gone through brokers courses and all these things, and nowhere does anybody teach you this part, right? Like we're supposed to be the voice of reason, and we're supposed to be the one that's kind of stays calm and guides everyone through. But when our energy is so frantic, because one, we don't know how to help, right? Because we don't know how to balance the energies and the things that we're dealing with the clients, but also from the stuff that we bring, right? Because your
Mm-hmm.
life doesn't stop just because you have a transaction happening and just because you're in the, you're serving somebody else. Like our life is still lifing, and so then we're
Yeah.
bringing that energy to it, and it. I've seen so many agents tank a transaction because of their own energy, right? Because of what they kind of brought to the table.
It's such a good point. Life is demanding, and real estate is like another level of demanding. And I was just thinking about if you were to walk into any other environment where you're the purchaser or you have something to sell, and the person that you're working with is frantic,
Yeah.
the energy you put out into the world will come right back to you. It is like the biggest boomerang scenario I know.
Yeah.
So being able to carry the load of life, which can be very heavy, and the load of pressure that comes with being in the real estate industry, to be able to carry it and hold it and build capacity for it makes you elite in
Yes.
that industry.
Yeah.
It puts you in the top 1%, and it makes you, this might sound woo woo, it makes you so magnetic,
Oh, yes.
because people go, she is the one.
That's right.
She's the one I want to work with, because
Yeah.
every time I talk to her, she's rock solid. She's consistent. She's
Yeah.
putting the energy out there like, we got this.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
It truly is an underrated gift and an underrated skill, because when you think about just our world as a whole, and I think about, and it's definitely in our industry, and I'm sure with other women that you work with in different industries, we are being sold to constantly programs, CRMs and websites and tools and how to get your leads. And the way those people sell those things to us is they sell it to us kind of by digging into a chaotic energy. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
100. If you don't have this, you can't succeed. If you're not
Yes.
using this, you're leaving money on the table if
Yes.
you don't invest in X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And some of those are very necessary tools, and some of those will help you scale more efficiently, and some of them will make your work life easier.
Yeah.
Most of them are sold to you in fear.
Absolutely
And
right.
they're pushing on your pain points to say, this will make your life so much easier. And the truth is, you learning how to regulate your nervous system will
Yep.
make your life feel a whole lot easier, not because it is easier, but because you have capacity to hold it.
That's right.
And I think what happens is in a world where the input is so high and it's like, buy this or else, buy this or else, you
Hmm.
buy it because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm invested. I
Yes.
want to win.
Yes.
I spare no expense when it comes to strategies and technology. And the afterthought is,
Yeah.
what's going on in my head and my heart? What's going on in my head and my body? And if I can optimize that,
Yep.
I will win regardless of what tools I have.
Yep. It's what I see. It's one of the biggest hurdles, mistakes, issues that I see so many women in our industry have because our nervous systems are already dysregulated. We're already questioning and doubting what we do and how we do it. And then when we're flooded constantly with all of this noise of, well, you have to do it this way, and if you're not doing it that way, and all of the comparison, then we're like ping pongs, right? We're like bouncing around. It's the shiny object. I better buy this. I know so many women that they're constantly buying things, buying things. I can tell when and I have conversations with women in real estate all the time, literally every single day. I can tell by the questions that they ask about what they're looking to buy in their business based
Right.
on how they're feeling because there's a mismatch. It's like, okay, well, she must be feeling worry about her pipeline and she must be feeling, some dysregulation because that's why she's trying to figure out who she can spend $10,000 to build a website for her that's not really going to generate business when that's not how she does business. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what's really interesting, Karen, is when you make big investment decisions from a state of dysregulation,
Yeah.
from an emotional
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
you're not always investing for the right reasons and you're not always
That's right.
investing in the right products.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of investing in my business.
Yep.
For the first year of my business, I took almost 40% of my income and it went back into my business. And of that 40%, almost all of it was on me.
Wow. Wow.
Almost all of it was me working on my inner world,
Yep.
me skill building, me.
Hmm.
And it's like, if I don't have something, can I build that skill?
I want to take a quick second to talk to you about the conference. September 29th and 30th at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Dulles, Virginia. We've got 2 full days built for the woman in real estate who is ready for what comes next in her life and business. Last year, we had women who left with things they really weren't expecting, new ideas, a different perspective on where their business was going, real strategies that they could implement right away. This year, we've got 2 full days of that. Our speakers are the real thing, and we've got content that takes you as a whole woman, not just a one-dimensional real estate agent, not just your sales numbers, seriously. If you've been thinking about it, this is your nudge. Registration is open. Early bird pricing is still available, and the link is in the show notes. Or you can go to our website, empoweringwomeninrealestate.com, and click on conference.
Yeah.
And knowing the difference, do you outsource a website? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what am I doing to build my skills? What am I doing to regulate my nervous system, to build my inner world to a place where the fear doesn't
Yeah.
feel as scary?
Yeah.
The scarcity is not triggering.
Yeah.
The ability to watch another woman and go, ooh, I see a blueprint for success rather than I see a lack of my competency
Exactly.
is a really powerful place to operate from. And I don't want people to get confused and think, well, Jamie, it must be nice just to wander around in a Zen light state. That is not the goal. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It is to be able to self-regulate, to be able to bring yourself back to a position where I'm just making a good decision for me based on facts and information and not feelings.
Yes.
Zen is not the goal.
Yeah.
Regulation is the goal.
Yes. So let's talk about that for a second. And you had kind of, we sort of touched on it, and this is very typical for our podcast episodes where we kind of go in a big circle, where we had talked about that. And so like when you are noticing that you are operating from a state of that dysregulation, when your mind, those thoughts are flooding in of, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing this enough, or I better go buy this thing. Is there a strategy or kind of a tip or two that you can offer to help us in how we respond to those thoughts?
Yes, and it's so counterintuitive to how a woman's mind, a high achieving woman's mind, is wired. We are usually wired to do more and run harder and run faster to stay ahead, right? To outpace the pack.
Mhm.
And what's so counterintuitive about this is the recommendation is to slow down, to speed up. It is to get really quiet. It is to spend more time with your thoughts and your mind than with other people's thoughts in their mind. It's to spend more time in your world than in their world. And the way
Yes.
I do this, and I always say, take what serves you and leave the rest, is the first 30 minutes of my morning are mine and mine alone. There's no phone time, there's no input. It is me spending time with my mind and my body, really feeling through how am I feeling? What am I thinking? What's going through my mind? Whether it's journaling, whether it's meditation, whether it's me laying on the back with my legs up the wall just to
Yeah.
move blood around, 30
Yeah.
minutes of silence every morning does me wonders. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, if I feel the stress is really, really high, it can be a 10-minute silent walk around the block. 10,
Mhm.
like fresh air works
Yeah.
wonders. Just
Mhm.
10 minutes of just no more input
Yeah.
and just silence. And the one thing that is really, really helpful, the connection between the mind and the body, is a body in motion will unlock a mind.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you feel stuck and if you're feeling overwhelmed and you can't hear your own thoughts,
Yeah.
move your body with silence, nothing in your ears, and just let your mind unwind and unlock a little bit. That's a tip that I use a lot.
Yeah, I love that because you're so right about those inputs, right? Like we're receiving inputs like constantly, and a lot of it we do to ourselves. I think about when I want to unwind, a lot of times it's really distraction, right? Let me distract myself with a podcast, let me distract myself with a book. But all I'm doing is I'm just putting more noise in there.
It's more coming, it's numbing out, it's a
Yeah.
protection, and it's a way for you to say, it's not my thoughts, it's just noise coming in, and it's a distraction from what I'm really battling against right now.
Yeah.
In your industry, there is no way that you guys can be successful without your phone. I believe that.
Yep, it's true.
And so I would guess that after you and I are finished this podcast, you will go to your phone and you will have dozens of text messages, dozens of emails. And what
Mhm.
happens is you get so addicted to managing things real time
Yeah.
that even when you're trying to regulate, you're like, I just need to get back to her
Yeah.
about this listening. I just need to get back to escrow. I just need to talk to this brokerage firm. And it is a constant state. And
Yeah.
while this takes discipline and just blind faith that it will help you, is really time blocking the time that you're going to be available for people.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
know people listening right now, like, that's not realistic. I will lose deals. It
Uh-huh.
has to be real time.
Yeah.
But that real time response is not only leaking energy, it's
Yes.
leaking focus, it's
Yeah.
leaking everything that you want back in terms of saying, I'm going to check my phone at the top of every hour for 10
Yeah.
minutes, and then I'm doing deep work or whatever I'm doing for the next 45, and then I'm going to give my mind 5 minutes of white space.
Yes. That's such a simple, what you just described is such a simple thing. And isn't it crazy that in this industry, we are kind of taught to think I can't ignore my phone for 45 minutes or I can't ignore my phone for an hour, right? Like it is, and I think about like, when I would go on a listing appointment, I'm there for an hour or I'm there for 90 minutes and I'm not looking at my phone and it's okay. But I think
Mm-hmm.
we're afraid, there's a fear, there's that constant fear of I'm going to lose business. One thing that I have often, kind of taught or shared is sometimes like it's exactly what you said. We almost become addicted to, oh my gosh, I got to respond to all of these emails and then I got to respond to all of these messages and then but it takes so much time and energy from us that then we're losing that focused work. And so something that I'll do a lot is I'll see an email, if I'm at a period where I'm checking, right? Like I love what you said, like maybe the top of every hour, you give yourself 10 minutes to go and check some things. And obviously it's going to need more than a response I can give in 10 minutes. So I will love to just do a quick reply and say, "Hey, I just want to let you know I got your message or I got your text, right? I have an appointment next or whatever," and set the expectation for the follow-up. That is going to take you so much further, right?
Yes.
In building trust with that client. Of it's not that you have to give the full response right away. It's like, okay, I see you. I want to give some thought to this, and here's when I'm going to provide that to you. And that's all they need.
100%. And you said something, so I could spend hours talking about. I feel like we're losing the war to our phones. Like there's a
Oh,
war on technology and we are
yes,
losing. And
yes.
when you said it's almost like we become addicted, I'm like, no, we're full on addicted. And that is how social media is designed to bring you in, suck you in, and get you addicted. It's how the news lines are written to trigger you, to get you addicted.
Yep.
And our brains become so, they crave that really cheap dopamine.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
as much
yeah.
as we say we hate it, our brains are like, you've trained us to want this and crave it. And without it, we don't even know what to do with ourselves.
That's right.
And I think that if you've learned that, you can unlearn it.
Yeah.
And to know that our brains can multitask, but they weren't built to multitask. And every time you multitask, you leak 40% focus.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
And I believe that your industry lives in a chronic state of leaking 40% focus, like moment after moment after moment. You go to bed, you're like, I'm exhausted. And your brain's like, of course you are.
Yeah, of course. And it's a
Of
reason
course.
why like burnout is such a real and true thing in our industry. And I talk to women, health problems, is such a real and true thing. Stress induced, like I could tell you story after story, and it is so true. And the thing is, there is an amount of courage that's required to buck the system of I have to be glued to my phone and I have to respond within 3 seconds. Like there is a courage that's required to say, I'm going to do this differently. And this is how I operate. And this is how I'm going to operate. And on the off chance that a client can't respect that, they're just not my person,
They're not
right?
the right client for
Not the right
me.
client.
That's,
But because we live in this state of scarcity,
yeah.
this is a whole nother story, but like, I think so many agents, they struggle with prospecting and they struggle with being magnetic and they struggle with attracting business. And so because of that, they have a death grip on everyone that they
Yes.
get, right? And
That's
so
it.
so it's hard to
Yeah.
let go or think or contemplate maybe this isn't my person when really that person's going to distract you from, having three more.
I always look at it and go, well, let that person go torture another agent, like or broker. Like, let that be another person's
Yes,
problem. I
yes,
think the question is, how do I choose to show up in my day?
yes.
It's a choice. And you go, if my choice and if it's in integrity to show up as the very best version of myself, because then all of my clients will they'll
That's
have
right.
a better experience. My
That's right.
business will thrive because of it.
That's
What
right.
choices do I have to make every single day to
Yeah.
show up as the highest version of myself? And if one of them is releasing your chokehold on
Yeah.
every lead, cold, warm, or otherwise, and to have the boundaries to say, I'm going to meet you. And if I feel as though you're going to be so demanding that you're going to ruin my life,
Yep.
it's not worth that transaction. And to your point,
Yeah.
me not dealing with your
Yeah.
unrealistic expectations of
Yeah.
availability allows me to go find two or three other clients that are going to be lovely to work with.
Right.
We're all demanding these are big transactions. We're
Yeah.
all demanding. Some of us are more demanding with like, hey, you have a life, you're a human. I'm not going to ruin your human experience. There are some other people out there like, I'll ruin every human experience to get what I want.
Exactly.
That's not the
Yeah.
kind of business you want to
Yeah.
build.
No,
Yeah.
not all money is good money, right? And so,
Oh, I like
yes,
that.
I have a friend who says that, and it's really true, but it's hard again, there's a confidence I think that's required in order to fully kind of embrace that feeling. I think in our work, we're taught to be reactive all day long, and the best agents, the ones that are the most regulated, right, that are able
Yes.
to handle the most, are the ones that are really proactive, that have systems. I found when I was in my years of servicing clients, I had very clear systems for communication and setting expectations and when I would follow up. And so what I found is that my phone actually rang like I had fewer of the incoming calls from my clients with the 5,000 questions every day because they knew what to expect. They knew when they were going to hear from me. And so it relieved that trust was built. And so it relieved that kind of tension on their end of, oh my gosh, what is she doing? I've got to call her. I don't know what's happening. Right. And it's because you have to treat your business like a business. And if you don't and you react all day long, you're going to be chasing it.
It's really interesting. We could spend hours talking about communication, effective
Uh-huh.
communication. When you work in an industry that trains you to be reactive, basically what I hear is something's going to happen and it's going to register in your nervous system, usually as danger.
Yeah.
And usually reacting to that is, I'll do anything to stop the pain right now,
Right.
including respond in the moment, tell someone what they want to hear, not hold the boundary. I'll do anything to get my nervous system not to scream at me right now.
Yeah.
The ability to have that moment between stimulus, which is a text that comes in, it says, where are you? What are you doing? Like the ability in between the stimulus and the reaction
Yep.
is where your power is. And you're trained to just react. You're giving all of your power away.
Yeah.
And what you're reacting to is the feeling in your body saying, I don't like this. This is stressful. Let's make that go away. And then by reacting from that state, we create more problems.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. And that's the thing that we don't realize is that we are creating an entire additional set of problems for ourselves, right? So
Yeah.
as we kind of bring this around for today, I would love to hear a little bit more about, you were, I think, 22 years in a corporate career, and then made this big shift in your business. Could you maybe kind of talk about that and because also want people to hear how they can work with you. And so could you talk about like that experience and what brought you to that point and just kind of all those things?
Yeah, I'm like, which part of the story do I tell? Tipping very, very close to burnout was one of the reasons where I thought I choose not to do this anymore. I think we like to use the word I can't do this anymore. We have so much more autonomy than we believe. And I thought I choose not to do this anymore. And I'd rather exchange the discomfort of a fried nervous system for the discomfort of fear to start something of my own. And it was an exchange in uncomfortable feelings. And so I left corporate in March of last year and I took what I love to do the most in corporate and I just built a business around it. And it was working with female leaders, with really ambitious women and peeling back the layers to say, what is keeping you and preventing you from getting to the next level of success?
Mhm.
And is there a way that we can unlock it while you actually enjoy the climb more, where you actually can hold the success and enjoy your life while you're building it and while you've achieved it?
Yeah.
And that's what I built my business around. And so I have one on one clients I don't have a single one on one client that isn't a big dreamer, a big doer, and a big believer in their vision. And all they're looking for is for someone to say, let's unlock all of my potential.
Oh, yeah.
And generally speaking, it's the mind body connection. Like, let's regulate you, let's unlock you, and let's dig into those limiting beliefs that are creating the habits or patterns that are holding you back.
Yes.
It is the most rewarding work I've ever done. And I have never loved my work more.
Oh, I
So
love that so
thank
much.
you for letting me talk about that.
Oh
I
my gosh.
appreciate it.
I love that so much. And I think what you do is so important too, because I think that we all have a tendency to, if we're going to invest in something for our business, we tend to invest in maybe a system or a specific strategy that's like business related. And then we wonder why we still feel bad, or we wonder why we're still struggling, or we wonder why we're still burning out. And it's because the investment needs to be the investment in ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have never, and I don't like to use the word always or never a lot, but I've never invested in myself where I thought, well, that was a real waste. That was a real
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
It's like that, the ability to look inward and go, what is holding me back?
Yeah.
What is an opportunity for growth?
Yeah.
How do I leverage the very best version of me? How do I access her?
Yeah. Yes.
And how do I let her build success from a place that is in line with my values, that is kind to my nervous system, that allows me to be present in and love my life while I do it?
Yes.
That's like, in my mind, that's the real flex.
It is. It's like I have it on my Instagram profile right now too. It's like building a life and a business that feels as good as it looks, right? Because I think, I
Mm,
think especially for those of us in real estate, like, you think about shows like HGTV and like the Selling Sunsets, like it has ruined our industry forever. Like people look at this stuff and it's like, so then we have to present this like glamorous and it looks so amazing and you get these big checks and you ride around in fancy cars and you do these things and but the reality is there might be a small piece of that it's true in what we do with our business, depending on your market and whatever. But it might look good on social media, but it doesn't feel good. Like I don't like we feel stressed, we feel burned out, we feel shamed, we feel not enough, we feel guilty in not showing up for our family and friends. Like I literally saw, and here's a tangent, but I literally saw a woman that I know on social media like a couple months ago, and it must have been something that another company had pushed out or something because I saw several people do something similar, and the whole like crux of this post was about how I will cancel plans with my friends and family to go show you a house. Like that was literally that was the legitimate messaging, and I was like, no, what is wrong with us? That is what we feel like we have to do to be successful.
it's so interesting because that is a person who has just lost track of their values and just
Yes.
lost
Yeah.
track of what is really important in life. And I want to honor that it is really easy to get sucked in. It is really easy to lose yourself in a lot of industries, but real estate specifically. And when I hear that, it actually like hurts my soul. It hurts my
Yeah.
heart because if I was looking for a person to partner with,
Yes.
I'd be like, girl, no, I won't let you do that for anything. So if that's your decision, so be it. But
Yeah.
you're not my person because we don't even align on values. There's a
That's
huge,
right.
huge mismatch because I won't cancel on
Yeah.
my people.
That's right.
So that is
Isn't that
what a
wild?
sad
Yeah.
marketing campaign. Yes, it's
Truly,
wild.
truly, it is. It is kind of sad, but I think it kind of speaks to just kind of the crazy disconnectedness that I think is our world, right? And like, how can I, okay, well, everybody's saying the same thing, so I got to say something different. And so my different is I'm gonna like be such a person of low integrity that I'm gonna cancel on everybody in my life so that I can run, we call it a Pop Tart. So I can Pop Tart and run out the door and show you a house. Like it just like it boggles my mind, and I would love for us to like reframe that narrative in the industry for how we operate.
I look at it as a golden opportunity. So I love that we have the ability to choose. I love that we have agency over our life. And I love that we get to choose how we create the rules.
Yeah.
And I look at that as not a reminder of like, to me, I'm like, oh, I need to hear these stories because it's such a
Yeah.
good reminder to me
Yeah.
of why
Yeah.
I choose differently. And maybe,
Yeah.
Karen, the most radical thing a realtor or broker can do
Yeah.
is show up and state his or her values and say, this is the baseline of which I operate from.
Yes.
And if that is not integrity with you, I'm not your person, let alone you're not mine. I'm not your person.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, it takes courage, but I think people would be just blown away at the
Yeah.
response
Yeah.
that how much more easy it would be to call in the people who are in integrity with
Yes.
you.
That's it. And because we put out, you use the term cheap when you were talking about like cheap dopamine hits, right?
Dopamine.
But it's kind of the same with this. Like we kind of put out this kind of cheapness in our business and how we operate. And so it's no wonder that, loyalty amongst clients with agents is such a struggle a lot of times because we're kind of operating from this strange space. So like they kind of don't trust us and so we don't really trust them. But if you can really operate from such a place of that integrity, this is how I do things. This is what I do. You may not be my person and that's okay. And when you can operate from there, I think most women would be surprised at how much better and stronger their businesses would be and how much more they would love their life.
How much more they would love the work and the people they work with. Nothing would make me happier than a bunch of people trying this and being delighted with
Yes.
what the response is.
Yes.
It's really interesting because if your values, and family is usually at the top of many people's lists, is your values are family and you're not out there promoting those values,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not say, like, I value this
Yeah.
so much that I live and breathe it. And if you do too, we're going to love working together.
Exactly. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I've loved this conversation today. I think you and I could probably, and I know we could talk for a really long time.
Hours. You're like, where did 45 minutes go?
I know. So and I will put links, I'll link your Instagram, and anything else in our show notes. But what is the best, first of all, a parting thought? I would love a parting thought for our listeners, for the woman who is maybe feeling that kind of dysregulation in her body and in her life, and what would be a parting thought for her? And then also, how to find you, best way to find you and connect with you.
A parting thought. I love this idea. A parting thought was create more white space, create more stillness in your day.
Yeah.
And I slow down to speed up.
Yes.
Slow down to work in integrity, slow down to allow your nervous system a chance to catch up. Right now, I have a wait list for one-on-one coaching, which even to say that, I'm like just overwhelmed with gratitude. The best way to work with me is to reach out and say, hey, I'd love to explore coaching opportunities with you. And I don't just plunk people on a wait list. There's a conversation. So because I'm not for everyone, and listening to this, you will know I am not for everyone, but to have that conversation and say, yes, I think we work famously together, or no, I'm not your person, but I can refer you out. Just ping me on Instagram, and or there's an application that you can find in the link in my bio. Either way is great.
Awesome. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Jaemi, thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. I know that this has been a good, encouraging conversation for a lot of our listeners.
I so appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you. My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast. Click subscribe to be notified every Wednesday when our latest episode is released, and be sure to check out our group on Facebook.